As protesters dug in their heels in downtown Ottawa and at border blockades across the country, the Canadian government wanted to find a way to cut off the flow of money propping the convoys up.
Pretty much anything that we could do would require a legislative change. And legislative changes, by their nature, take an extended period of time.
The Emergencies Act gave authorities the power they needed. The RCMP provided information about the protesters to financial institutions, who then moved to freeze their accounts.
That was an awful lot better than having to go in with police and clubs.
Finding instruments that create an environment where people have an incentive to go home, having made their point, that seems to us to be a path worth pursuing.
In total, $8 million in assets were frozen from about 280 accounts. The lawyer for convoy organizers argued blocking the money raised through crowdfunding sites infringed on Canadians' rights to support a political cause.
When the government interferes with what is to be done with those funds, can you not agree that it interferes with those donors' freedom of expression? Can you agree with that?
Look, the government took a decision that these activities were illegal.
The Prime Minister's top security advisor says she believed the situation also posed a national security risk.
The violent rhetoric was increasing rapidly and exponentially, that the number of threats against public figures were increasing.
Jody Thomas says talks with protesters weren't going anywhere. And she says police in Ottawa provided no evidence they had a plan to shut down the protests.
Were you ever asked whether you thought that the invocation of the Emergencies Act was necessary?
Yes.
And Marina, it seems that Jody Thomas also took a bit of a swipe at the RCMP commissioner who testified earlier this week.
Yeah, the pair were both in this special cabinet meeting on February 13th, the night before the act was declared. And the head of the RCMP, Brenda Lucki, testified that police forces in Ottawa actually did have a plan ready to go to shut down the protest without extra legislation. But she was never called on to speak at the meeting. Today, Jody Thomas went after Lucki. She said if there was critical information, Lucki should have provided it, whether she was on the speaking list or not.
All right, Marina von Stackelberg in Ottawa, thank you.